Let's see if anyone's gonna join us tonight. This is a random Q&A. I just felt like I wanted to do connect with my subscribers. As you know, if you're watching this after I republish it, well, we're getting to an end of 2022. Hopefully, thank God, the pandemic is behind us. We've kind of survived that one. And 2023 is just around the corner, and probably favorite holidays, celebrating Christmas and New Year almost. And there's a lot of changes in the car industry. And pandemic has been replaced by the um, you know, inflation, upcoming recession probably, and economically difficult times. And I want to talk a little bit about cars. And let's be honest, the cars are getting super expensive these days. And just thinking about like of people who have a habit of buying cars instead of leasing cars. Not It's not an option for everyone to lease a car. Sometimes that's economical reasons. Maybe your salary is just not high enough, so the bank won't give you a loan, won't approve your lease. And some countries have, like in Croatia, here is more popular operational lease, where you return the car and get a new one, which mostly companies use, rather than financial lease, where you finance the car and then you pay off the in advance calculated uh, end of the contract value of the car. So um, some people buy new cars with credit, just go to the bank. That's not really popular anymore, but some people just save cash on the side, uh, how much they can, and they form a budget. So usually, like I'm talking from Croatian perspective here, before this pandemic and a whole this situation when everything started going up with prices of everything, basically. um, I remember reviewing the cars, and in all of my reviews, I've always typed the prices in euros, even that we had still have different currency in Croatia. We have our own currency called kuna, which is going to be replaced in 2023. We're replacing it with euro. That's our government's decision. So we're also getting into the Schengen as well with the Romania and Bulgaria. So that's changed for us, but I always type the prices, and I always film Croatian kuna prices. So those are there if you watch my older videos, like the Golf 8 or the Golf 7 reviews, and you can see uh, how prices went up. You used to be able to buy a car for maybe 25,000 euros, like a base price, and then if you wanted the high-end model, it would go towards the 30-ish, 32, 35 tops. But now it seems like the base prices are closer to the 30, even 35. And I would say, like in general, car prices have went up. Like in Croatia, I didn't do exact math to be clear here. It's more like just we have a saying here, odoka. It's just like basically, roughly looking at it, it's around 10,000 euros. I would say some sort of average price bumps that happened not at the same moment, but just before the pandemic. I've noticed the car industry raise their margins, and when introducing new models like facelifts or a new generation, they would just um, reduced the previous model had like base package, and they would just cancel that package and raise the bar with the price to the middle package. And now the next model, like the new Golf 8, there was like 7.5 facelift, and the new Golf 8. So the 7 had the base package, and the middle package is now the Golf 8's entry package. I mean, entry price. So they just kind of raised the bar with the entry price. So what happened also is when the pandemic started and they started losing sales, um, they all kind of started increasing the prices slightly. But when the pandemic started, the real problem was the chip shortage and parts. So they decided, let's reduce uh, our productions and continue on, but let's raise the product prices so we would discourage people of ordering new cars. But then what happened is they realized, hey, we can produce less cars for more money. And obviously, kind of that was a logical economical choice. But then the question is, um, how a long term is that going to affect the market and the customers? Because not everyone can afford the price bump. So basically, after the pandemic, prices went up. Now the inflation also going up. And then we're going to see what's going to happen in 2023 in recession. So there's two possibilities. First one is that the prices will continue going up, but at some point the bubble needs to burst. So they should reach the point where they should try to lower the prices when the supply chains get to the old tempo of distribution of the parts. And excuse me, and they will start reducing their prices. But the long term, what I hear in car industry is that the car industries wish that's what they want, but it's questionable will it work. At least it might happen in the next year. So in the 2023, their idea is that they want to produce less cars and make more money. Like, who doesn't? But that is really not viable long term, and it's just yeah, bad. But also, I'm talking here about internal combustion cars, so diesel, petrol, hybrids, and so on. Everything that has a engine that burns fuel. But let's talk about electric cars. Now, I went to electric. The main reason was economical decision, not just like an emotional or the fact that I love Tesla because it's a gadget car that's on wheels. I thought first that Tesla was the most valued car on the market with the performance, getting new updates that other cars don't. At least like not like bug fixes and so on, like really getting new capabilities of the car, at least functionalities that are cool and so on. And upgrading the car on the go regarding charging, battery range, performance, and so on. But the whole experience of a Tesla being so fast, that was also one of the key features. And but the most that made me decide to get a Tesla. I mean, everything that I said before is great, but if you can't afford it, it's just like you know, it's not for you. You can't afford it. But I've pulled my budget just to get that with the government financing. So actually, incentive. They give you money so you don't have to return it. It's different. And it was a substantial amount. It was almost around 9,300 euros. So you can imagine that that's a bargain. But that also helped me to, get an electric car. If there wasn't that government financing, to be honest, 100%, I would never buy a new car. Because it's just for me personally too much money that I wouldn't want to invest in a car. If I had a super good business that's running and extra money, then I would consider buying a car. But if I wouldn't, I would definitely not be buying a new car today or last year. So with the incentive, the electric car price was close enough for me. Like if I was, let's say, a business person and looking for a new car that I just have to run because it's operational cost for me or my company. And in that case, I was looking at something like 40,000 euros, give or take 40, 45. So the car costed 50, 55, and but it lowered the price and it was close to like Audi A4, although base model, where you wouldn't get like leather seats and stuffs, and like automatic AC or something like that. But I'm just like talking from top of my head now. Don't take me for my word. What's the exact package you would get? But it would be base package. So I found more value in electric car. But the reason why I did choose Tesla is because we had free and we still have free charging in the city I live and in Zadar where I go. So in Zagreb and Zadar where I go, there's free charging. I've almost haven't paid a single euro, kuna, whatever you want, because it's just free. And the prices, of course, have went up. So the electric cars are, great for the cities, and most of them cannot do trip in a single charge from Zagreb to Zadar, which is less than 300 kilometers. It's something like 280, 285, at least from my apartment to my house. And the reality is that should be more. And car industry is developing new batteries. At least there's a lot of universities, a lot of companies, tech companies that are investing in finding new materials that are more eco-friendly, that will increase the energy density in batteries, giving you more range. So they're also working on faster charging equipment, but forget it. Like charging takes like on a fast charger 20 minutes or less. You stop for 10 minutes, you can get to, or like 20-minute stops, you can get from Zagreb to Zadar with any other car that's not a Tesla. Uh, like Volkswagen can make it in a single charge, and some other cars like from the same group. Some other cars, like in winter, if they don't have a heat pump, they will need to stop and charge. But the reality is that the climate is changing. It's really not important if it's humans or natural change. The thing is, it happening, and we need to reduce pollutions in the cities. And um, the weather is changing. I can feel here when I was a kid there was snow um, for Christmas. Now there's no snow for years, as far as I remember. It's like more, not 10 years, but almost like 8 years since we had like big last snow around after the new year actually. But for now, for the last few years, there was almost no snow here where I live, which is shocking. So the things are changing, and but to be honest, 100% honest here, I wanna put this out there because people are not thinking about this. Everyone is talking about two things. First one, that NOx gases. So the diesel and petrol have these toxic gases. So that's the reason why we want to switch to something else. I'm not saying that the battery is perfect. Some people are for the hydrogen cars, and but those also have another problem, that's the CO2. So extracting hydrogen also creates CO2, but everything that you do on this planet creates CO2. But reality is that it should be reduced, I guess. And you know, uh, so I lost my thought there for a moment, but electric cars. So if we do choose electric cars, charging isn't that a huge deal. It's a new habit. You get used to it. And but traveling, people are used to traveling at least 700 kilometers. And I know some people, they want to travel at higher speeds, and get to their location, not waste time. And an electric car is not for everyone. What car do I own privately? I own a Tesla Model 3, long range. Okay, let me see some questions here. Hi, wondering about your opinion about the. Sorry, just lost there. Have to bring back the message. Kind of disappears. I wonder your opinion about the W213 and G30 Koi, which used are better 2.0D motors. Okay, to be honest, you have to clarify about this. I review a lot of cars, but some cars I don't review. If you're referring to a BMW, I do not know. You have to specify the brand. Sorry. Just on ne znam detalje svih motora ono u šiframa i ako se pitaš za, ne znam, G30, nisam siguran govoriš o BMW ili nekom drugom brendu, samo napiši mi koji auto točno misliš. So someone's asking for a used car. I'm saying, as I review cars, but I don't know every single car from top of my head, especially now if you're talking in code of the engine or like the motor. Like BMW, I've said multiple times, don't get them for reviews. Just there's a one dealer and he doesn't want to give car reviews. I mean cars for reviews. And on the long term, it's just getting more difficult to review cars, to be honest, and to get cars for tests. It's just getting super difficult. And there's so much competition. Like everyone wants to become a car reviewer today, and they post their videos. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I don't know, there's already so many people posting car reviews on YouTube. There's like just too many people. It's like with cat videos. YouTube tells you when you open your YouTube channel, don't post more cat videos. There's plenty of them on YouTube. What do you think about the Skoda Octavia in style package? If you're just asking for a package, it's a great value for money. But yeah, I've heard Skoda with the fourth generation, the latest generation, had problems with the infotainment. Allegedly, there was supposed to be software update that fixed that. That's supposed to be out. I don't know. I don't own a new Octavia. When they come from the factory, the latest ones that I reviewed, I didn't notice they had a new software, to be honest. Despite that, I think the rest of the car is great. I've heard people that bought the plug-in hybrid had problems, and you should not invest in that. The plug-in hybrids, for me, I would say my advice would be either go electric or stay with the petrol or diesel engines. It's just more reliable on the long term. There should be. I've heard my cousin was looking to buy a Skoda Octavia, and he told me that the dealers told him that if he orders a car, it was like a month ago, that he might get a facelift. So unofficially, I think Skoda didn't communicate that publicly. Yet there is supposed to be coming a facelift of the Octavia 4th generation. Now, sorry, back to what I was trying to say here. I was talking about cars becoming more expensive, and the thing is, electric cars. The idea was to reduce the technology expense and bring them to the masses. So the key problem with electric cars is that they're too expensive. But now all the cars are becoming too expensive, and people are not a fan of that, and people won't be able to afford a car. But also there's a huge problems where we have so many cars, so many people driving with the cars. I can see in Zagreb in last 5 6 years we have huge rush hours during the whole day. 6 years ago there was a rush hour in the morning when everyone's going to work, and in the afternoon when everyone's going back home. So it's becoming terrible, to be honest. And it's like the fuel is becoming more expensive, owning a car is becoming more expensive. It feels like more people are jumping to the cars and driving cars when it's really sometimes not necessary. I'm not saying you should not own a car. I'm just saying, sometimes, if you can use the tram or public transport, um, and you're not in a rush, you should use it. You should, or at least you should walk. If it's not a huge distance, you should walk. If it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes walk, if it's 30 minutes walk, you should walk if you have the time, not use your car every day. That's a bad habit. I'm also, having the same problem. I just, jump into the car, I get to the place, but now I'm starting to realize, I want to walk more. I want to stay healthy because it's not healthy always staying in the car. But back to the topic that I was trying to talk about is, electric cars with the situation are not becoming affordable, but hopefully in the next 3 years, so actually 2 years, until 2025, we hope, the car industry hopes to lower the prices of the batteries and generally the prices of the batteries. But what what the governments could do today and to bring electric cars closer to the customers who are looking at a new car. And the whole idea where they were supposed to like even the prices of like internal combustion car and electric cars. You can just choose if I want to go um, greener, maybe more economically costlier, or if I want to get somewhere fast and pay a little bit more for it. But to give you basically just choice that's supposed to be price even, um, that didn't happen because of the whole economical war thing, with the unfortunate war with Russia and Ukraine. That's hopefully going to end as soon as possible. But this whole thing is just getting out of control with the prices. And that's just unfortunately human nature and capitalism in combo. But to be positive here, um, my idea, what I wanted to share is that I believe that this will happen in the future. And, uh, electric cars could be cheaper today. So I was just watching some groups, and there's always private interest in every groups. They're trying to promote something. But I was watching a local group here, and what I've heard is like European Union has suggested to all its member states to to uh, like not deduct, to cancel value added tax. So they said so that you don't have to pay tax for your new car. So if you're buying electric, so let's say if you're buying a Tesla and it costs um, let's say 50,000, like in my case, or something similar to that, just to round up the numbers, 50,000, then you would pay 40,000. And then if you're looking for the 40,000 car and you can buy electric, then you can choose. But if it's like 10,000 more or even more, I'm looking here privately, not as a company owner. It's always easier if you have a successful company. But if you're a private owner, that's a huge difference. That's something that would, uh, push you to choose a electric car, especially when it comes to small cars. A lot of people have, small cars that they drive to work, and in that case, like Renault Twingo, ideal electric car. So if that car price would come to the same price as a petrol, if the governments would intervene and say like we're gonna give up our tax here and just help you, uh, help us reach our targets with the lower emissions, and get cleaner air in the cities where we live, most of us, that would really help. And I wanted to spread that message, because cars are super expensive. But imagine if you didn't have to pay, at least for electric tax. I know a lot of people who are today like, I want to go electric, but it's just too expensive. It's not for me, and in that case, I think that would change a lot. I'm hearing that the companies should get, some countries already have that, like deduction of tax if they buy electric. But I would like to see this to private customers as well. So spread that idea amongst your, friends, car guys, and so on. If you are one of those people who is thinking about that. Okay, guys, that's a little bit what I wanted to share and just talk about. Was just random. So I'm gonna go to your questions, and if you guys have um, questions, feel free to ask. Okay, another question here. Let's go this order when it came. Questions came. What's your opinion about the Mazda 3? Well, Mazda 3 was excellent car. If you watch my reviews, I was really, pleased with the car. I think the Skyactiv G, in my personal tests or my personal experience, had better fuel consumption than the new Skyactiv X. But I love Mazda. I mean, I'm not talking here about personal taste, about the design. Uh, I'm talking here about the general feeling of the car. It drives good. It was economical, at least uh, when I tested it. And it has a premium touch inside. Definitely everything is made on a premium level. Feels quality made. It's made by Japanese, so a little bit less space in the back. But if I'm a tall person, so that's always my problem. But if it's not your problem, the car is great. I mean, I love the CX-30 as well. They look really alike. So, but yeah, great car if you want to go for that. It's probably also one of the last petrol cars you'll be able to buy, because the government are deciding like in the next few years There won't be any internal combustion cars to buy. Question about the E-Class. Okay, 2016 or 5 Series to 2017. Okay, so do I have experience? Honestly, I don't. I've actually, I'm lying here. Let me see. E-Class 2016. I've tested E-Class, but I think it was the model it was 2018 or 2019. I'm gonna be lying now. Generally, I don't know too many Mercedes-Benz owners, to be honest, and I know that some people had a lot of problems with Mercedes. But these are also people who are sometimes, exemptions because they do a lot of miles, they do a lot of travel, business travel, and sometimes, you can. It's like with my car example, my Tesla. I got a car has bad quality paint job from the factory. There's another guy who bought the same car, came from the other factory. It's perfect. So, my experience looks bad. His looks perfect. He's happy. There's no, bad quality on his. There is on mine, and it's just two different experiences. So, someone who might drive the car a lot or a little bit less, he's gonna have, malfunctions. And someone who drives it a lot is gonna have serious problems and a lot of expensive problems. Gonna say here in Croatian, čuo sam za neke koji imaju užasne kvarove, ali ne mogu reći da je to generalno, možda su iznimke ili jako puno voze auto i onda jednostavno se puno auto koristi, rauba se i jednostavno otiđu onak neki dijelovi prije. Dok neko vozi manje, to se ne događa, tako da taksisti, a ne samo nužno taksisti, nego jednostavno ljudi koji voze poslovno auto, puno kilometara, auti nisu kvalitetni kao što su nekad bili. So, I'm saying some people, drive cabs. They're the best experience people to ask if the car on the long term is going to be good, because they're the people who abuse the car mostly on the road by driving multiple people, and they're keeping the car on the road 24/7 running. But also business people who are doing a lot of miles, kilometers, whatever you want, who are traveling a lot of distance. So they're the best to ask. But what I personally do when I was looking at a new car, go to find forums, forums where there's people who are really engaged. If you're looking for Skoda, brishkoda.com. No, brishkoda.net. So Brie like British, Skoda without the S with the mark. So just Skoda. Briskoda.net. So that's the forum I went to. I'm there, but it's not really active anymore, since I don't drive a Skoda anymore. But that's the place where I've found out most about the car, common problems, reliability, and how to fix problems. I was a long-term member there, really active when I had my Skoda. So I found a lot of information there, so I would advise you to find those kind of forums if you want to find out more about the specific car you're looking for and what's other people's experience, what kind of faults there's their engine, coolant pump, and so on, other problems or with transmission or something similar. It's best to learn from other people's mistakes, basically. Let me see here. There's some maybe other questions. Hello there. And about the 5 Series, unfortunately, honestly, I've never driven the 5 Series. I've driven the 2012 model once. From my cousin had it. I took it like for one spin when I was a kid, when I had just had my license for like 2 years. Love the car. I was really impressed. It was my favorite car. The 5 Series was my favorite car for a long-term time, but just not anymore. Honestly, I can't say that I like where BMW is going completely with their philosophy and design. But as I've mentioned, I didn't have opportunity in Croatia to test drive new BMWs. I did have Mercedes, and I got all the new models before the pandemic. And then just with the pandemic here locally, what happened is they reduced their cars they could get on the market, like the number of the cars. And then all the cars were so late. And I know a friend that has a car in order. It's now not so late. It's late, like for maybe 2 months that was supposed to be delivered. But I know last year, like people were waiting for a year or more, and the dealer didn't have cars. So when they would get a car that's supposed to be a test car, they would just sell it immediately, and they would be like, "Oh, sorry, we want you to review our cars, but we just don't have cars at the moment. You know, we just want to prioritize the customers and just give them cars as fast as possible." And they even like ordered a fleet of cars for the local Dynamo for the football club, Zagreb football club, and it was there was like, I'm not a huge soccer fan, so I think there's like, I'm gonna be lying now, like 5, 6 players, seven, I have no idea from top of my head, but let's say, and the guys who are on the bench as a replacement. So let's say there's like 20 of them or 25, I don't know. You have to get all of them new cars, and they didn't have the cars. They would get one car in a month, maybe two if they were lucky. So it was that bad with production and delivery times. So I didn't get any Mercedes cars. All that I did reviews was at car shows when it's already super late. The new X1 looks promising. It does. I like the design of the car. It's roomy. I've said in my review, I think it's a good family car. Someone who is 2.1 in centimeters tall. What is a good car for visibility? What's the best car you've driven for visibility? That's a good question. I'm going to tell you that my Model 3 is not good for visibility. When it comes to the A pillar, it's just the car is low and the hood is like longer, so you have the good blind spot. It's not a huge problem, but sometimes it is a problem to see the pedestrian in certain situations. And I would say in general, I can't say from top of my head now a model. I usually say my reviews if I think it's an obstacle. Um, but in general, the cars like the X1 have a taller windshield and taller side windows. Those have usually better overview because then they have more room, because if the roof is low and then the A pillars extend, and then sometimes because if the car flips, they need to have a thicker A pillars. So in that case, that's creating a huge blind spot for you. And then if you don't have that small window uh, where the A pillar connects, where they usually put a mirror, uh, then also that's a blind spot. Some cars like I think Toyota, for example, they put like a small window in front, and some other brands, uh, I can't remember now which specifically, but I know some cars manufacturers do that. Hi mate, have you make another video about Kia Rio GT Line 2023? Unfortunately, no, I haven't seen one. Basically, I mean, I can film and put a title 2023, but it's basically the same car, so it's like 2022. The one that I filmed last year, I'm not going to be opening my laptop now, but the one that I filmed is the latest one. If I see on a car show or get a chance, the Kia also locally is the same problem. They don't have cars at the moment for test. But if I see it on a car show, I'm gonna film it. It's gonna be on the channel always. So that's the reason why I was looking for like local, um, car shows, because there aren't many international car shows. The Geneva is gone. It's being moved to the Middle East, which is really unfortunate. It was a great car show, and so I try to get to those car shows. I usually find out about them like last minute, so it's hard to plan them, but I go to the car shows and then I try to film all the new cars that I can, because it's again getting really difficult getting cars for reviews. Locally, I get some cars from the dealers. That's how I started, and then I get some cars from the local importers. They call me to the press events, but not a lot of them, to be honest. So this job is, I gotta be honest, getting a um, really what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I don't know. Um, Challenging. That's the word. Challenging. It's getting challenging to not just to find cars, but in general, if you do find cars, if you're not really first, you all know that views generate revenue. So the more the views, more the revenue. And it's just lately, you can see my numbers, they're not that high. I keep doing this because I love reviewing cars, I love cars in general. But honestly, I am considering doing something else. Um, I would hate to stop reviewing cars, but that might be the reality. I'm gonna see through the next year if I'll have to, you know, do something else. I'm still thinking of doing YouTube, but I was also, to be honest, thinking of doing some other business. I would like to open my own business and do something, maybe something related to cars, um, but maybe something completely not related to cars, but something to, have my own independence, business wise. I mean, financially. But I would still keep the YouTube channel, maybe cars, but a little bit less tempo wise. And I would maybe, I was thinking of like maybe exploring another niche on YouTube. I don't know how much are you guys open. I mean, the whole channel was focused on cars, but I was thinking of adding also something else, like doing. My first idea when I started YouTube was doing games, like game reviews, but kind of past that. I mean, I still play games occasionally. I play Hell Let Loose. It's a really good, cool PC game for like World War II, like really realistic. But it's not just like Call of Duty. You have to use TeamSpeak. It's a really TeamSpeak game. It has 50 players on each side, so it's World War II, and it's pretty fun. Um, but I'm not sure how many people would be interested in that. Games are a totally different niche. They have a lot of views, so it's also a good topic. But I also like Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars and a Star Trek fan, and I like Legos. Like I was like thinking recently, I like Legos. I didn't buy a Lego because I just don't have time for it. But I like Legos, and I saw there's like people who really like Legos, and they watch those. I mean, the unboxing and stuff like that. I also like few times tried to open my new phone that I got for making car reviews, but that never hit. I mean, if you want to do something right, I've realized that when I started with the cars, you have to give all of yourself into it, like focus on it, not like doing sideways, like this and that. So it's never gonna thrive. Just take one thing that you like, put all the energy into it, and I think then it's gonna work. So this car topic is really getting just too many people doing the same stuff. But eventually, I think people who jumped onto it thinking, hey, I can make a few bucks on the side here, but or thinking that these people who are already in it, they're making a lot of money. That's not the reality. There's not that much money. There's few people maybe in America who are making like a lot of money, who were first like vehicle virgins, and similar, but everyone else is not making that much good money. There's a lot of money you make and then just reinvest back, and it just keeps rolling, but you don't have a huge pile of money on the side that you're putting every month. It's just covering your life expenses and giving you a little bit to spend on the next month to keep the work going. So you have to like this, um, in order to continue, because I think a lot of people who who had false um, expectations or false idea of this business, they're gonna just quit and realize that's not it. um, but then if I will be consistent with this, I'll still be here. It does seem like very saturated market, hard to stand out and get the YouTube algo to promote you. Yeah, just uh, I remember the days when I started, and I really did start early, like in maybe 5 years ago, I think, that I've decided I want to do this professionally, not just as a hobby. That it started as, yeah, the market is really, full of that. But when I started, I used to get a lot of views. So the Tesla Model Y that I filmed um, with a new Quicksilver color, the red cherry color, it's supposed to come early 2023. So after New Year, they're gonna start painting that, using that new paint on new cars. That's the information that I got from the Tesla employee. But if you are one of those people who is thinking of that color and getting a new Model Y, it's exclusive for the Model Y. But so the Quicksilver color, I was the first in the world to film the car. I was hoping Tesla would bring that, and it turns out that was one of the first six cars they've painted and that they've sent to the market. And it was the first car that didn't have parking sensors. So I'm literally first in the world who filmed the new color and the car without the parking sensors. I thought there were new cameras, and even the Tesla employee thought that was new, but it turned out those were not new cameras. There are coming on new US cars at the moment. So yeah, but that's the only video that kind of hit off and did a lot of views. I remember when I was one of the first people who started reviewing cars on internet or on YouTube specifically. My car reviews would hit a lot of views because there's just not a lot of journalists or anyone else doing car reviews, and now it's hard. I know my A8 car review and my friend's A3 that he lended me to do a review were shared on Drive Tribe. That kind of also was my first, publications that went on, public media. And then this Tesla Model Y with the Quicksilver was posted on Electric, which is like one of the top pages for news about EVs. So I was really proud of that. But yeah, that's when you get exclusive. I was really, building my channel and going towards that. I was hoping, like, for example, the Skoda would call me to like review a new car, because the last Octavia 4, I was the first person to review the car. I mean, to do a legit review when I had the chance, because other press people who were invited to the launch of the car, they didn't film it. So to do like a few photos of the car, when I got my first chance, there were not really any reviews. I did a decent review immediately. So that's why it has few million views. And I was hoping to get those opportunities, but just um, getting to the car industry, to the Skoda, to BMW, to someone else, it's hard. It's legit hard. They're not gonna consider you at all, despite your views. It's just, I don't know, people who are running those marketings. It's hard to get to them. They have to like you or something. I don't know. You have to go really viral. I have no idea how that works. I even have someone in BMW that works, that's that's like director of production for the whole BMW, and nothing. I cannot get to the BMW marketing staff that's calling people to reviews. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like complaining or anything else. That was my goal. I was hoping to get like the Thomas from Autogefühlen. I met the guy. I've didn't have time to asking questions. I've just briefly met him a few years back in Frankfurt Auto Show. That's Frankfurt EAA. That's gone now. It's Munich EAA. It's really not that good, but yeah, he gets all the opportunities I would like, but it's just hard. Have you ever driven the Peugeot E208 without the 3D cockpit? And what are the thoughts on it? I had a 208. I loved it. Unfortunately, no, I did not see the model without the 3D cockpit, although I saw other models that had the same cockpit without the 3D cockpit. Honestly, the 3D cockpit is cool looking, but it's not a deal breaker for me if you don't have it. It's a cool thing that you see from a driver perspective. No one else sees it from a different angle. So honestly, I don't think it should be a deal breaker if you're looking at the car. The car was great. I had it in winter, so you can check my review. I had the blue model. I loved it. The car personally, it's great, but for a city car. And I had the base LED lights, so I love the look of the I don't think they were matrix, but with a lens, and those like strikes for the daytime running lights. Those are really cool. There was like a red model in Swiss, but I just didn't film it because I know no one's gonna watch that video. They've changed the engine output. It has a stronger engine. I think it's like now like 150 electric horsepower, and um, they increased slightly the battery volume. I know that because of the DS3 I reviewed, and it's basically the same platform. But there's like visually no changes. This I can just put 2023, and like no one's gonna watch it. I mean, I even filmed the new Kia EV6 and the GT package, and like no one's watching it. I don't understand. So the algorithm is going like, I don't know. Apologies, but it's going to shit. I have no idea what's going on YouTube. Um, yeah, and the EV6 like has 585 electric horsepower. I mean, that's faster than the Tesla performance cars. I mean, the Model 3 performance. I think the Model Y performance is close, but it's a lot heavier car. They are both like SUV, but I mean that car is crazy. And I'm thinking like if it had closed wheels instead of those fancy open wheels, like it probably had a better um, range, and if it had smaller wheels. Hi, Josip. Hi, Dardan. I'm hope pronouncing that. Ibrahimi. Dardan Ibrahimi. Okay, I'm guessing you're from the Balkans. Quicksilver is nice on the Y. It is in person. It looks cool, but it does have a little depth to it, but not a lot. Don't expect a lot in person. I'm thinking that the red color is gonna have more depth, but also the cherry red or whatever it's called, it looks like Mazda red, you know. So I like that color. It looks great, but I think it's completely overpriced. Like 3,000 euros for a color option. I mean, that's crazy. And I know there's like crazy color options on some premium, legacy brands, but I don't know who's gonna pay that price. But I guess there's always a market for something. So, Kosovo. Okay, I've Pozdrav Kosovo. I've assumed it was something. I knew a guy. I actually worked with a guy from Kosovo. Also Ibrahimi. Wait, what was his name? Let me see here. I can't remember. It was my last full-time job before YouTube. I forgot the name of the guy. It was my colleague for 4 years. He was also from Kosovo. I mean, he lives in Zagreb, but he was from Kosovo, and I think before the our war with Serbs came back to Croatia. But so hi to Kosovo. What do you think about the Neo? Could Neo be the rival to the Model 3? Um, Agron Ibrahim. Yeah, it is Agron. Da Agron, yeah. What is he, your brother or something? Yeah, Agron. Yeah, sad sam se sjetio, Agron. Agron. Yeah, say hi to him. To ti je brat, it's his brother. What are the chances? Yeah, tell him, recimo Josip Ricov ga pozdravlja. Ja, radili smo u kombisu zajedno. Um, ja sam radio u servisu, onda sam poslije radio ko sistemaš sa njime. Yeah, what are the chances? So one of my here subscribers, I was working with his brother. I used to work in IT. I was in service and like system ops. Yeah. Sorry, Neo. I've been following Neo like slightly like on the side, to be honest. I haven't like really checked their specs and everything, but I know they're really promising. Like I've filmed the BYD. I heard people pronouncing it BYD, but excuse me, I heard people pronouncing it BYD in China, and by American. There was a YouTuber making vlogs from China 5 years ago, and I have no idea what's the name of the channel. I forgot completely. And he was mentioning company back then, and then I heard it on Fully Charged. I saw their plant visit video where they review all their electric setup cars, buses, heavy duty electric vehicles, and I was like, wow. And I knew they were like a big player, and I said they're the new Tesla. But so they're doing a lot of progress. Neo is also one of those companies who's doing a lot of progress. The Lucid Air and there are a lot of companies that are supposed to be promising. The Rivian is number one that I think is promising, and that's going to have successful sales and manage to pay all of the investments before they go bankrupt. And that's the car I would love to review, but maybe if I go to the USA, I had some ideas to go to the USA, visit some family members, distant family members, but and some close family members. But I don't know. I was waiting, to be honest, for this pandemic to get over. I was even invited to Detroit Auto Show, um, but I just didn't go because at the moment, at the time, there's still some measures, and I just didn't want to deal with that. And traveling with a plane was really awful because until recently, it was always like risk. Are you gonna be positive? Are you not gonna be able to go to the trip? And then you pay for the plane ticket, you can't get a refund. It's awful. And I don't have money to pay like for the full insurance and way like 3 times more expensive ticket to, you know, uh, get a coverage for the plane ticket. Okay. On your Storadi. Okay, I know. I've imagined. Okay. What is Fisker up to? Fisker just launched their Fisker Ocean. It's being produced in Austria, just like a neighboring country to us. Not border neighboring, but after Slovenia. Uh, I saw the Fisker Ocean prototype. I wanted to film it, but it was like really not. The demo car was not functional at all. The infotainment didn't work and everything. It was just like a demo playing. But the cool details on it, it's nice, big and spacious, and has cool details design wise, and it looks freaking cool. So I'm really interested in that. Uh, so okay, so someone's asking that I've mentioned I'm charging for free. Which app I'm using to find the charging stations that are free? Um, Okay, well, it's not a secret, definitely. Um, I would advise you to use the app called Plug Share. Over there, you can find all the charging stations. You know, fast, ultra fast, fast, and like so AC, DC, and like you can see all the networks and all their locations on a map. It's actually quite easy. So people think it's hard to find superchargers or chargers. In Croatia, the government invested, so they pulled the funds from the EU, um, uh, you know, uh, developing funds, whatever they called. They've built a charging station on every rest stop on the highway. So you can go in Croatia to the vacation with an electric car. There's no problem. You can stop on every stop or every gas station. There's a charging station. Like there might be like one or just a rest stop that doesn't have charging station. They will have in the future, but their gas stop stations have um, electric charging stations. So every almost single one. So you can stop and go to the bathroom, get some food, coffee, whatever. It's 50 kilowatts. And going to the coast, excuse me, there are two or three that are 180 kilowatts. So that's like level of supercharging for a Tesla. But and there are Tesla superchargers, but the prices went up a little bit higher, and they're really expensive. So most people just charge in the cities, and they drive to the next city and then charge in the city. Specifically, which are free. In Zagreb, Petrol, that's Slovenian fuel provider and energy company that's owned by Slovenian government. They've pulled a lot of also funds. They've installed charging stations in Zagreb. They are all free inside the Zagreb city. They used to be free all over the country. Now they're not. But also, you should check Plug Surf app. So they have sometimes better tariffs for charging. Sometimes it's cheaper via their app rather than the embedded app from the provider. So I would advise you to check that up if you are driving electric. And of course, Lidl and Kaufland shopping centers, some of them in Zagreb, there's like not all of them, but a lot of them have distributed around the city to cover the city. They have charging stations, also 50 kilowatts. So you can just, if it's free, you come there, plug in your car, you go do some shopping, you get a coffee, you take a walk, and you charge for free. I've been driving for free for almost 1.5 years more. I'm hoping it's gonna be 2 years, but that's the reason. Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. That's one of the key reasons why I bought the car, why I bought the Tesla, because I'm driving free. I didn't pay for gas. I don't know. I've paid for electricity like few times. It's like really minor. It's just for me. I've saved so much money on fuel. Thinking I did 30. I'm almost 37 kilometers with my car, and I did in 1 year before like 13,000 kilometers, which is our average. So yeah, I drive more. You drive more when it's free, of course. And I went all the way to the Spain, to Germany, to Serbia, to Montenegro. That's like southeast or eastern, the farthest. But I went to Germany and to the Spain with my car. Mostly all free, completely free. And yeah, I mean, not everyone has that, and it's a little bit misleading. You know, a lot of people went, same as me, because of that reason. It's not viable long term, and it's not possible. But I've decided, I'm gonna take my money, put it all in that, and just save some money that I could sell the car later and get the money back, because Tesla is the best car in holding the value, and electric cars in general are holding the value best. So yeah, plug share and plug surf if you're looking for charging, and yeah, and another app that's gonna give you um, perspective of how much actually range, or how many stops you would have to make to get to your desired destination if you don't have electric car, is called a better route planner. Again, a better route planner, ABRP. So that's the name of the app. In there, you have a list of all electric cars. You choose your car, battery size, if it has a heat pump or not, uh, wheel dimension, and then with that car, you can change the car. So you can just punch in like where you're living and where you want to go, and then it gives you a route. It tells you how many charging stops you have to make, how uh, long is that charging going to take, time wise, and how much is going to charge you. I mean, how much is going to cost. So you can see in advance, and it's really precise because they're using real users' data to uh, create databases and real data. And based on real data, they make those um, calculations. So when you pick a car that you're interested, you can punch in a destination, and it's going to show you exactly what's your trip going to look like in real life. The margin error is like 2-3%, perhaps tops 5, maybe on a really bad car 10. But I would say, like, from my experience, at least with Tesla, it's really precise. And yeah, that's something I really recommend you. If you are seriously looking for an electric car, that's something you should check. um, okay, let's see more questions here. I'm not going to try to be too long, as this is almost an hour long. Um, Success and go. So it's next car show. As I mentioned, I've I'm looking for local car shows. It's the end of the year, so I don't think there's any. And then if I decide to go, it's the last moment, and usually it's expensive. So just follow the channel. You're gonna probably find out, or follow me on Instagram, guys. If you're not following me on Instagram, I don't know where you're living. I post all the cars that I review, pictures over there. You can find out first, and there's like whole database on Instagram, all the cars I reviewed. Mostly, I usually take photos. Sometimes I forgot, but you see all the cars, and in the past what I've reviewed, so you can also find it on the channel. And on the channel, if you all the way haven't figured out, I've created topics, so all the car brands, and There's even EV playlists, so you can find check through the playlist. All the cars are there. So playlists through the brands, and then electric cars. I haven't made internal combustion, but it's, either electric, it's gonna be there. What do you think about the new A class? New A class. Honestly, I'm not sure if I saw a new A class coming, but if you're talking about the lifted one, okay, facelift one. I haven't saw the facelift. I think there's just so many things going fast. So it's possible that I haven't. Let me check here from my laptop. I don't think I saw a facelift. I'm interested now. I mean, I loved the I class when I reviewed it a few years back. Let me see. Mercedes A class facelift. There is a 2020. No, is it? There is a facelift, but with a camo. I haven't seen. Wait, is it possible that I've missed this? No, these are renders. These are not real cars. There are camo cars. Okay, so I guess they changed the taillights and the bumper slightly. It looks like the same car. Okay, facelift. Oh, this is a render as well. Oh, new AMG steering wheel. Okay, redesigned the lights following the new C class. This car, I'm not sure if it's a render or like publicly released, but these look like early renders that look like the car is supposed to come. Well, it looks a little bit sharper, but I can't say. I mean, it looks good. It looks okay. If you're asking for my opinion, if I like it like visually, or I don't know, I think it's gonna be underneath the same car. Maybe they've settled a few of the. They had like what we call these in Croatia, baby disease. I think you already know what I mean. What do you think about the? Okay, I've said read that, and yes, there's a new one coming out in 2023. It's beautiful. Can't wait for that. Hope I'm gonna get a chance to review it first. I always loved Mercedes and their cars. Lately, okay, the really old ones I never liked them, but then the latest generation I really started to like them. Now I think they're a little bit overreacting with the infotainment. Because for me personally, it looks like a little bit like Windows Vista-ish. Like the 3D design is a little bit outdated, but yeah, but it's still good. It's good. Now, there's another question about. Sorry, I need to go back to the like little button and then through your comments, and while they're gone. Oh, live chat. They kind of disappear. Someone asked about the Prius. I saw there was a new Prius. I haven't really honestly checked the interior. The thing is, I heard about new cars, and then sometimes I want to not look at the releases. I want to be surprised when I actually see the car in person, and then I'm like, wow. Because sometimes I see the renders, I don't like them on the pictures, and I see the car in person, and then I'm like, oh, it looks good. And sometimes I just I want to hold the first impressions for the review, not spoil it by checking it on the internet. And it's sometimes hard, but sometimes I like that because I like to be surprised and not see the early renders. I think like the whole in the pandemic, that's what also kind of ruined my business is they released the press release. They do digital premieres, and then before it was to be premieres and car shows, and then I would come and film the car, and I would be like, "Wow, it's new," and you would be wow when you saw a review and actually how the car looks, not this like stage, road filming, and it's just not it. I think the car industry should stop with that because it kind of ruins it. It's a spoiler. I think it's like more genuine when you actually see someone filming the car like if it's here or in Zagreb or I don't know any other part of the city or world. But when it's someone actually testing it who's real, it doesn't look like he's a supermodel, plugging the car, walking up to it, like it looks like an ad. And then when you actually sit in car, that's the reason why I started doing this, because I wanted to show people how the car looks with the functionalities in person, so that you could feel like you're in the car, not seeing those stage b-rolls. um, an opinion about the BMW iX. I'm really sad I don't have the opportunity to test one. It's massive. At first, it was really, maybe on the outside, ugly to me. I didn't really like it, uh, but I like the interior. It's really cozy. At least the one with the cloth options. I saw the leather options as well. It looks really fancy, especially with those like diamond looking like controls, the wheels, and it looks fancy. But maybe for my personal taste, it's a little bit too much. But I would love to test the car more, because to see the technology, and like if I if I would get electric cars, I would go to Zadar because I have a house there, and I would go back. So I would do real life range tests. Like the Bjorn, I've learned a lot from him, but I don't have the opportunities that he has for doing those kind of reviews. Although I would always do 130 speed tests, not um, 110 that they do in Norway. So most of his tests are completely unrealistic. Not unrealistic because they're not real, because unrealistic in terms of speed he's driving. Like when you're driving slower, of course, you can reach higher range, but when you're driving 130, which most of Europe has, then your range gets a little bit less. So he's telling people, "Oh, this car can do this. Wow, it's just such a huge range." But in reality, he's driving slower because they have a slower speed limits that has Norway, Sweden, maybe, and UK. The rest of the Europe drives faster. So, I mean, his reviews are still good, but yeah, like a banana. I'm not sure if that was that intended to the iX, but yeah, I was trying to find um, the Mercedes EQS. There was a test car for the press, and I was trying to get my fingers on it, but I was just too busy going to the car shows, and that car is now a little bit too late. I filmed the first car in a Munich EAA, and literally not many views. So even if I got the car for a test, I'm not really sure how many people want to watch that now. It's a little bit just too late to film that. I've talked with Mate Rumek about testing Nevada, and or at least getting it for a review. And we were supposed to do this fall, but I was just so busy making reviews that I haven't found the time to contact him. And I'm planning to do it uh, this winter, hopefully, if he will have the car, because I saw he was, when I was thinking of reaching out to him, he went on more tests. He gave it to the press abroad, so I know the car was not here. Then he had the car, it's just he's so busy, and although he told me, contact me, uh, he is busy, but I was just like hesitating. But I would really want to prepare for that, and I have a few more videos coming to the end of the year that I want to just get rid of. Like, I mean, get rid of in terms of publish them and be done with it. And then I'm gonna have more free time. There's not gonna be too much cars in the first quarter of 2023. And then I'll try to do like good research on the Nevada, and ask Mate if we can do a car review, and if I can get the car for a test, possibly, or if I can get a professional driver. I mean, I wouldn't honestly be, I don't have the experience to sit in such a car, because I don't have insurance like the Top Gear to crash the car. I mean, God forbid something that like that happens. I would never go push the car to the limits, because I just don't have the experience. I would drive it normally, 140, 150, that's illegal in Croatia. I do like a range test if he would be down for that. But I would mostly just want to test the car to my on my original route that I do day and night, if it would be possible, and if he wants to send me with a professional driver, I would go for that. I'm not scared of that, but I really like to feel that 0 to 100 in, I think it's like less than 2 seconds. It's like 1 9 1 8, something like that. That'd be crazy. I've never experienced such a thing. I mean, probably in the plane, but that doesn't count. By the way, about the sound, I've suggested you should show us the audio performance of the car by using non-copyrighted music. I mean, it's only a little suggestion for content on your test videos. I read your comment and a few others suggesting the same thing. The reason why I don't do that is just the time. I know it looks like I have plenty of time when I get the car. The reality is, I get the car sometimes for 24-hour tests or less, or for like 12 hours or less than 12 hours, which means I have a very limited time. I need to get to my filming locations and I need to beat the traffic. Sometimes, they just call me and like, hey, you can get the car now and like pick it up now, and then you have to return it by the end of the night or tomorrow, or give it to this person, which is a press person. And sometimes it's just really hectical and a little time to prepare yourself. So I always have my batteries full. I didn't charge my GoPro. And I usually do have my batteries full. I have my phone full, and I have a power bank with fast charging in case I forgot to charge my phone, and so I can charge it while I'm driving to the filming location for the point of view. So I know I can just have a USB on, but then I had this copyrighted music that I'm using like for a long period of time, and I'm sick of tired of it. Pretty sure you are as well. But I've tried with other songs. I get copyrights on my Mercedes new C-Class AMG line. I got a copyright to some music that was not supposed to be copyrighted on a new one. It's just a hassle with the whole thing. And then if I use one of those musics, I know people would be sick and tired of it. So I usually just give you impressions, my impressions. And if we're gonna be honest, I think most of the car systems are like good for like basic radio listening. And if you have like a uh, paid option, or like premium paid option, or like branded speakers, let's call it that. So a speaker, upgraded speaker option, in that case, you get a deeper bass, you get um, higher noise, better, or like maybe a little bit on lower ends, but it's really not that good. The two good speakers that I did test are the Bose speakers in Mazda 3, and I've heard Burmeister in the S class, which I had before the pandemic when I got the new cars first. That was good, and in my Tesla, those speakers are, from my personal experience, the best speakers. I'm not overreacting. I think those are one of the best speakers. Tesla has used non-branded speakers, but they've hired a really X high, like its company's called S1NN. I found that from Bjorn because I would never find that information, to be honest. Um, if you look up that company, it was founded by ex Harman and I think Bose employees. So, and they have a really good company producing their hardware as well. So they have a really good software and hardware engineers for sound system. And the reason why I went for the long range is they have a better speakers in the same range, at least in the Model 3. Um, Sorry if I'm talking too much. Just it's a professional information. I go to details on single question. Uh, what do you do for a living, Josip, except YouTube? I do YouTube only for almost 5 years now. I quitted my IT job, and I love this. I tried, this was like a hobby at first when I lost my job and I was looking for other jobs. I was briefly working in sales, but then in a telecom, but then I just realized, I can make, something out of this, and I've wanted to create something that I like doing, and this was it. So it's a struggle. It's not easy as it seems, and I've only afforded Tesla because I've put in money on the side for my past jobs. So that's how I got the car, and I've literally invested everything in the car. But knowing that I can sell the car if I need the money, for some other things that might come as a priority instead of the car. And let me tell you, owning a new car is cool, but money isn't everything. Um, I would be really happy even with my Skoda. I love my Skoda, and to be honest, some things I love more in Skoda rather in Tesla. It's a more reliable car, definitely. For some stuff, Tesla is really reliable, but I had like really stupid issues with them, and it's just I've explained it in my videos. Uh, let me see here. BMW so much deception about their cars with the big beans on the front. Yeah, big kidneys. I don't know. I got used to them. I don't know. It's a personal taste. I think they use the Apple um, strategies. They just change the design, and they know you're gonna eventually get used to it, and you're either gonna start liking it or you're gonna hate it. And I like it. Some things I hate new changes, and I don't like them. And I know there's a lot of BMW fans even who was just like, I don't like where this is going. I'm switching to another brand. Opinions about the BMW XM. Uh, I saw the car when I went to Villa de Esta in Italy. It's close to the Swiss border. When I filmed the new i7, which is amazing, but I was a prototype. It's actually starting production now, these days. Actual production, all the cars were like prototype cars that you saw so far. And I saw the car that was also prototype, but they said there's this like fully finished car that's supposed to be production. And it looks definitely flashy. It's but it's wrong. It looks cool. I like it, but I would never drive such a thing. But I know there are people who like to be flashy, who like to stand out, who like that. And they told me, we're aiming at China. China is becoming such a huge competitor, and I think technologically, there people, some people mentioned this to me who are in business with China before, and they told them this like 10 years, 20 years ago. Our goal is to ruin Europe. I mean, I'm quoting people here. I'm not saying economically ruining. I mean, overpowering Europe, and that's what's happening. A lot of attention is being pushed in the car industry today towards Chinese market and their trends, and I think that's not a good thing. Simply because Chinese people, um, since they're communists, I mean, communists. Their government is communist or social. It's not a problem with the social, but being communist, they're not religious people. So why am I saying this? Because they don't have. No, let me see how to put this like directly on the spot, and it's just like simple is that their only god is money. So they value success. I'm not saying in generally for all of them, but they are. Uh, Looking to stand out, that they're successful, all the things that we've kind of overcome on the West world, not completely, but superficially, we're not that superficial in some things anymore. Like we're not really drawn. Not everything is in the money and showing. Oh, I have this expensive car. I'm successful. You don't need to show it that way. Some people don't like to stand out. I mean, that's not necessarily saying that you're successful if you have a lot of money. You know, and that's the bad thing. They're focusing on them, and then they're changing the design to please Chinese market. So all the new cars are super flashy. It's because of the China. And I know people don't like it in Europe. They don't like it in the U.S. or other markets, but they like it in China, and they're selling a lot of cars in China. And I think they need to caught more attention in China. What is your experience in the best economical petrol car on the market and hybrid with a good boot? Hard to answer since I really haven't got a lot of chance lately to really do proper tests with the cars, but there's one answer, and it's Skoda Octavia. Big boot. Even the petrol cars are good, although not a huge fan of the 1.5 TSI with cylinder deactivation. There were some problems that they've fixed the Kangaroo issue with the software update, but personally, if I'm looking for a ICE engine, I would go for a diesel. Although now it's even in Croatia, it used to be cheaper than petrol. Now it's more expensive. Now it's in Croatia, it's more expensive. So I don't know, but you still get a better fuel economy. Let me check. Let me check here. Let me check. I just see the problem is I've had hybrid cars, but mostly plug-in hybrids. So if you have a plug-in hybrid, I always try to charge the battery and then I would drive it for like it have 1 liter, 3 liter stop fuel consumption, which is not really realistic because you're driving with the battery. So I don't remember the last petrol car, purely petrol that I had that I can say had a good fuel consumption, and I honestly can't. I'd be lying for now, and I don't want to do that. So it's just um, I feel I'm like not helping, and I want to, but it was just that's the reality. There was not enough tests that I could get. It's getting harder in that area. Hopefully that will become easier or come back to what it was before the pandemic next year. Um, so yeah, I mean Skoda in general has good cars when it comes to space and fuel consumption, and in general, German cars. But I also had a good experience, with French cars as well, with the Peugeot and Citroën. But unfortunately, again, mostly not petrol cars, and not too many SUVs. I had, well, C4 was like the last, but that's also like maybe 2 years ago from now. Citroen C4, smaller, SUV, good space, but I don't consider that a big boot space. Definitely, if you're looking for space, Skoda cars. Um, when new GLC test and review is coming. Review is live of the Avantgarde and AMG on the car shows. I will see if Mercedes, I was working for with the dealer, will have one. But again, knowing from a friend who ordered a car from Mercedes, his car is delayed for 2 months, so I'm really not sure. I'm gonna see if there will be it's gonna be on the channel probably more likely next year. But if you want to see just the car itself, the practicality inside, how it looks, I filmed that, so you can check it on the channel right now. Let me check here. What battery electric vehicle would you get for 120,000 under around 120,000 or less? That's a lot of money, but you know the answer of that. Personally, I would love to try the Tesla Plaid or the Rivian. Rivian, if you're talking about SUV, that's the car I would love to test. I mean, I would love to test as well the Neo or the Lucid Air, but honestly, just Tesla Plaid. The launch time, that car is sick, and there are two guys in my Tesla group who have Plaid on order, and it's supposed to come in December. And I was talking to a local Tesla dealer who sold me the car. And I was like, you got to give me that car for a test. At least in the salon, there's going to be a test car. You got to give me a test car for a test. So, but the thing is with Tesla cars now, they limit the cars to 140. So 140 kilometers is like, what? But I got two guys who told me like, yeah, when I get the car, you're gonna get the car for the review. So I would definitely, if I had that much money, I would get a plate. Uh, but that's just me. I know there's other cool cars that people would be interested as well. Gosh, M, hello, my friend. That curtain and light shades need proper washing. Well, uh, they were washed. It's IKEA, so not the best curtains. That was like when I moved to this apartment a year ago, and I assure you they're clean. They just look maybe like that. Um, yeah, let me see here. Um, you should try Turkish TOGG here. Try to get it. Just they've got it just right. Yeah, I heard about this electric Turkish car. It sounds interesting. I have a friend in Istanbul, but yeah, it was also on a bucket list to go to Istanbul. But I was kind of waiting for all this pandemic to pass. I'm gonna see that's a bucket list definitely. I like to see Turkey and at least Istanbul. Skoda Octavia DSG gearbox, perfect for space and reliability. Yeah, I mean, the DSG is not really perfect. It serves a purpose. Sometimes it gets a bit dumb when you're going like uphill and then you go downhill. It forgets to shift down or shift up. But I realized if you let go of the gas, it kind of just figures it out. But like with the Mazda, their automatic was really good because it didn't have those problems. I heard that the Jolie has one, maybe not on Emil Frey yet. Yeah, we have Emil Frey here. We have Jolie as well, but oh, you're talking about the GLC. Okay. Ivan. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Didn't check the name. Okay. Um, I was working with Gasparic, so I'm gonna ask them. But yeah, I was thinking of doing uh, trying to do with the Jolie. They are no, excuse me, Emil Frey. They are the importer. So I would need to get on their list of press people. Then I would get the cars for first. But it was already there was already press release for the GLC. I know that because I know some journalists, and it was when I was on a car show. So when I filmed the Avantgarde model, I filmed it the day before or the day after. I don't know. That's when they had it. So even if they called me, I wouldn't be able to get to that press. And here's the thing about the press cars. You get to the press event, they pay you a nice dinner sometimes, and they give you some sort of gifts, but you just get a car for a short drive and you don't really get to experience anything. Um, so I usually ask them to give me a car later as soon as possible, and then I can do a proper test because I can't really do it on a short journey uh, that they give you on those events. So those events are really not that practical. Um, I would just, I to be honest, I wouldn't even go to them. I just have to get them to be, mingle with the press and to show myself, but because that's what they want to, uh, to spend their money on marketing, but and justify the marketing money. But I just, ideally, I would just ask for the car and not get there. Hvala dugo za punionice. No problem, no problem. And let me see here. Which dealers are you working with? Okay, I answered that question and message retracted. Okay, I think it's super late. Past midnight. I know actually in Croatia it's holiday, not holiday, but it's day. It's not called holiday. It's not a holiday. It's just like a day that it's free, something new. But I know for the Croatians, it's they can sleep tomorrow. But for everyone else, I know it's late. So at least in Europe. So someone was just watching my S class review, and so he saw him live. Yeah, that's one of the cars I really went full in depth. Like, I really wanted to show you that car. I was like, man, there's so many people who won't get a chance to test that car. I mean, I'm lucky to get a chance because of my job to test it, but in reality, I would never afford. I mean, maybe I could, who knows, in the future, but that's not my goal. But I wanted to show you what the car offers if you had so much money, like the luxury, everything you can get in like top-notch car, which was the S class, which is really popular. And I actually see a lot of them on the road. I'm really surprised there's so many people in Croatia buying those as well. But yeah, it's a super comfy car. The one thing that kind of disappointed me was the air suspension. Honestly, I was expecting a lot more from the air suspension, but to be fair, I was driving in Samobor, it's the city where I start my day point with driving. And driving through those roundabouts, the road is so bad. I think like the best air suspension wouldn't, you know, uh, even that out that much because it's just not possible, I guess. But so that gives you also a comprehension of what you can expect if you buy the car if you're like in a part of the world where you don't have good roads. And I always do the same route for a reason. So you can check all my cars that I tested on the same route, and like 99 of them on the same route. Only if they change my schedule or something like that, I film it on a different route. But so you can see like through the seasons and on the same road, you can see cars. Even if you're like a regular to the channel, you can see like how things change, how they've built new stuff, new buildings. Um, yeah, they didn't do a lot of changes on that, but there's like certain building um, that they've built on like an empty part, and it's like building popped out of nowhere, and they'd like reduced the speed limit to like 50, 60, and it used to be like 90. So I cannot film that part because I'm rushing there, but I don't like speeding too much. There's a tolerance in Croatia, so just like past that part, I don't film it. Then I start filming. Yeah, but yeah, this job is to some people it looks like a dream job. It used to be. I really enjoy this job a lot, but I'm also working more. And to be 100% honest, it's becoming stressful and wearing me out. The burnout thing is real. Um, that's why I used vacation this summer. I haven't filmed anything to be honest. After before August, I just stopped filming, and I've really enjoyed myself, and I've kind of recuperated. And sometimes you just have to give yourself some break and continue on because it's hard and things changes. We all have ups and downs in our life. So this channel, but I keep going forward. So I'm going for the long run. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. Thank you all for joining. I didn't plan this. Just I got a need to like make one. I've did wanted to like announce a this kind of live video, so to like join more people, come together. But I'll try to do that maybe around holidays. I really wanted to do that. Um, okay, last three questions before I end the video, and then I'm gonna really end it because it's getting late. Which car brands are getting better and add quality in your opinion, and which ones are getting worse? That's a really good question because I saw a lot of like savings and sometimes stupid savings, like really stupid. Like Kia, I've noticed they have now fully automatic windows on the front, but not on the rear. Why? In 2023, just makes no sense. I think all the cars should have fully automatic windows. When you pull it up, it goes all the way up or opposite for the down. And I don't know, it's small things, but they like, I guess on a global scale where they make mass production cars, it's a lot of money for them. So they kind of always trying to balance, I guess, when they're trying to do something else. And as a user, you're gonna see, oh man, they've reduced the quality in the Volkswagen. It's not soft touch materials, it's now hard plastic, like it was before the Golf 7. But you haven't noticed it because Matt Watson wasn't touching everything and saying, oh, this is not soft, this is hard. So yeah, but I know it's the feeling that you got used to in 7, and then in the 8 I was like way down. I was like, why am I paying for? And they increased the prices. But the reality is, like, with the emissions that they need to pay for the higher CO2, uh, they need to pull the money somewhere. And then they decide, we're going to save here, here, and here. So I've noticed that Kia, for example, has uh, stepped up their game in quality, because before they were a lot cheaper and they look bad. Even the Dacia, which is always excuse me, it was always a like a cheap brand. It felt to me, I felt like a cheap brand, but now I'm thinking it has a lot of value because it's a car you can buy for 20,000 euros or less. So that's a good value. And it's not luxury or anything, but it does the job. It drives you from point A to point B, and you don't care if you scratch it, if you damage it, because you didn't pay a lot, and it still drives you from point A to point B. The Duster is an awesome car. You can go off-roading if you get it for all-wheel drive. So it's a good thing. But when you overpay for a Golf 8, I don't know, you're not gonna feel the same way. And Volkswagen in particular has dropped their quality. BMW has kept their quality. I see small changes. Sometimes they do small savings that you don't really notice if you don't look. um, Mercedes has lowered like slightly, but it's all masked really good. So they have those flashy parts, air vents, ambient lights. So you kind of don't notice those at first. They have plastic stocks for automatic, you know, really plastic. It's like really cheap piece of plastic instead of that fancy that they had before. But all the brands, I would have to do like extensive list, but I would definitely say Skoda has gone slightly up, but they've hold their like quality level, and Audi has kept their quality level top notch, but also more expensive. If you want to fully spec the car, it just costs so much more, and then it's just not really. There's more than other options that are more giving you more and more valuable. Um, and yeah, Asian brands like Mazda has stepped up, really high quality. And I think I haven't really reviewed Toyota. Excuse me, not Toyota cars. I haven't reviewed Toyota cars, but they're like on the same level. I think I've started like reviewing them recently, but I haven't got any for test. But Japanese like Honda, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the Japanese cars, but they're really good. I gotta say they're really good, and they're the last one who are gonna join the electrification. So if you're looking for petrol, those are your brands. Yeah, let's finish up those few questions and quickly, and we're gonna see you then in the next. This button is messing with me. Okay, let's see. How much cost service for a Tesla? I've mentioned that. I forgot on top of it. In euros, so it was like maybe, I'm gonna be lying now, 200, 250, something like that. Maybe less. I forgot. It was around. Even so oko 1000 kuna, 1200, ne znam. Sad bi te lagao, ili malo manje od 1900, ne znam. Air filter, that's why I replaced. I said it in the video. And they've charged the AC. So none of that was necessary. The air filters are recommended every 2 years, but a lot of customers, I mean, a lot of people in my Tesla group are saying they have a bad smell in the AC, and I just said like I change it in my other cars every year. at least my like family cars, and I've just said to them to replace the air filter. And I've also they've asked if I want to charge the AC gas. Now I haven't charged the AC gas in my car, like never, in my ownership, but the reality is I don't think it was completely necessary, but the AC runs all the time during the summer and the winter, and I have it all the time on. Um, in the winter, it's keeping the battery warm and and the cabin, and in the summer on, as well cooling the batteries and so on. So keeping it in the right temperature, like that's the thing I love about Tesla. You turn it on the app, it works instantly. I always come in a warm car in the winter and cold car in the summer. Remember when you get in a hot car, and you have to open it up, it's hot air, you can't sit in it. I don't have those problems in a Tesla. I always turn on the app, it's nice and cool, I jump in, I drive off. Same in winter, when it gets super cold, I turn on the heating. It preheats the battery also, so it's not cold and doesn't affect the range that much. And I just jump in a nice warm car. And I remember jumping in a cold car. I would hate that. I would wear gloves on my hands on the steering wheel. I hated the cold. I mean, I love, I love the you know snow and so on, but not. I hate touching cold stuff. um, I mean, it's not really nice when you're driving. Which car brands are getting? Okay, I've asked that question. Answer that question. Sorry, what is exact test route? Mountain road around snow, but it's um, and there's some Napametim, it says. I don't know the name of the road. When you go from the road that goes from the main square, or that comes down to the main square from the mountains, you just follow up that road. If you go to the traffic light from the main square, turn to the left, you just keep that road, it keeps going all the way to the waterfalls, or to the creek. That's where I go. I've been driving my bicycle once there, and I discovered, I was like, oh, man, that's a nice place. I'm gonna keep that because it has a little bit open road, city driving, highway, and the garage. So, what do you think about the Volkswagen T-Roc facelift? I filmed it in beginning of the year in France. Really on, you have the. I think also in the salon here in Zagreb. So you have all the models. You have the lifestyle and the R line. Um, I like it. Looks better, but it's also more pricey. Yeah, not really sure if it's justifying the price they've ramped up. There are no service intervals on Tesla. So Tesla opened up like every car manufacturer. There's this law that came in the USA, and it was kind of forced to the rest of the world. It's called right to repair. So the car dealer should, or the car company, uh, like the brand should give you. They've all opened up service manuals for the cars and intervals free on the internet. So you should be able to check for your car. This is the I think the idea behind this was so that people can use the technology longer, because we're creating a lot of trash. We're replacing stuff earlier than it's really necessary, and we don't use it longer. This is of course because of capitalism. People want to make more money, which is a bad thing. It's not really good. I mean, it's good for the advancement of technology, but not good for long-term creating a lot of pollution. So Tesla, from top of my head now, I forgot, but there are no fixed service intervals. There are recommended um, things where you should check something, but there's not mandatory service that you must do. Um, that will, if you don't do it in a certain time frame, void your warranty. So nema nekih stvari koje moraš napraviti da ćeš izgubiti garanciju, nego jednostavno je preporuka da napraviš ne znam, zamjenu filtera zraka svake 2 godine, to znam točno, a ja sam idem svake godine. I takvih nekih stvari ima generalno koje svakih par godina zapravo je preporuka da se pogledaju, ali nije obaveza. Znači ne utiče na garanciju. So I'm explaining on Croatian. So in Tesla there is no fixed service that's mandatory to keep the warranty on the car. There are like few schedules when something is recommended. I don't know from top of my head, but like the air filter is recommended every 2 years, but you can do it every year if you want. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. This is quite a longer video, and I'm gonna try to do another one around the holidays when I get more free time, and I'll do a yeah, I'll announce the live video so we can have more people join in. And okay, a few other questions, then I'm gonna end it then, really. Electric car, next electric car will be Tesla Y. Yeah, the idea was, but it's still in the air. That's what we say in Croatia. I'm not really sure about that. I do want more space, but I'm not sure if I'll have the money for that and if the government incentive will still be in place. And I was thinking also of a used one, but the main factor that's kind of a deal breaker for me now that I'm still thinking, is it worth my while or not, is the fact that I've checked with the app that I was mentioning before. I don't know when you joined, but in the Better Route Planner, it gives you like really good estimate of how far you can go, and it would turn out that I would have to stop and charge in order to get to Zadar. So, or if I wanted to go in a one charge, I would really need to deplete the battery below 10%, which is not good for battery. It's degrading the battery. So long term, that would not be good. But then I would maybe sell the car and don't care. But with this car, with my Model 3, I can make it with 90% over there with around 15%. So I don't, spend that part of the battery that is not good to use, like the 10% and 100%. So this is just battery health wise, but I can make it in one charge, and this is good because I don't have to pay anything for charging. It's just charged for free in Zagreb. I go to Zadar, I charge it for free as well, and I go back and forth for free. It's saving me money, so I don't have to pay any money for charging. If I had the standard range, I would have to stop and charge on a really expensive highway charger. And last question, thoughts on the Golf R 20th anniversary? Thanks. There is review coming. I filmed it in Swiss, but a little spoiler, the car battery, 12-volt battery, was dead. It was actually kind of dying on me, and I did film the car, so you're gonna see like the walk around of the car and some b-roll, but you're gonna also see that the front headlights were not working. But I show the car, show the details, how it looks. So if you're eager to see that, it's gonna be on the channel in a few days, maybe by the end of the week. And thanks guys for joining me, for staying tuned. So I wish you a good night. I wish you all the health, all the happiness, all the joy. And until the next one, thank you for watching the channel and being with me. If there weren't you guys, there wouldn't be me. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this. So happy kilometers. Stay safe on the road. And I'm going to see you in the